morning.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Yeah. So, what is it like? It's like 3:30 there, your time?
It's 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, yeah.
It's 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah. So, it's Mina, right?
It's Romina. Yes, it's Romina.
Romina. Okay. I know on Instagram or Facebook you just have Mina or whatever.
Yes,
So,
yes, yes.
Romina, for everybody listening, we were introduced by Todd Rutledge from System X here in the US because you are a System X installer slash distributor, correct?
Yes, yes, we
Yes.
are.
In Malta of all
And
places.
Malta, yes,
Yeah,
right in the
which that
heart of Europe.
in the heart of Europe. So as soon as he said Malta, I was like, definitely want to have her on because um like I told you, I've been looking to get more international guests on, especially this year. And and Malta's kind of an interesting place. It's a tiny little island. Really?
Yes,
Yeah, and it's not big at all, right? It's
not big. 27
no.
kilometers and all.
Yeah, yeah. So I think I looked up. It's like 220 square miles or something like that.
Yes, yes,
Yeah. So I what I want to ask you is because I'm always curious with people, like especially the guys in Hawaii, that are small islands and things like that, is how is the detailing scene on I mean, not even a small city, a small country like that?
First and foremost, we have ample cars. So, since it's an island, most of the we use mainly cars. We don't have very effective public transportation.
Okay.
So every family has like 4 cars on average. So there's loads of cars. Secondly,
Oh,
it's an island. We're surrounded by sea, by the Mediterranean Sea. So that causes a lot of issues when it comes to paint. So definitely, we highly recommend having the ceramic coating done to the cars or even PPF and wrapping and the like. So definitely, we highly recommend to clients.
right.
Now in 2025, the consumers are more well versed with what detailing is, with what ceramic coating is about, and we continue doing our best to educate everyone on how to go about properly cleaning a car, what tools to use, even just for a consumer. So, because we also have a detailing academy
Okay.
here in Malta, and we do several sessions with car importers to help them out because when new cars are transported, we find a very frequent issue with the mineral deposits on cars. So it's a brand new car, and you find the whole bonnet covered in minerals. And therefore, we hold several sessions with the PDI teams of the car importers to help them out understand what chemicals to use in order to address such. So there's a huge awareness. We try our best to keep teaching consumers and importers what chemicals to use, what are they for, and the like.
Right. No, that's very cool. I mean, yeah, I mean you're right. I mean, I here in Florida, I mean, I'm kind of located in the middle of Florida, so not too close to either the Gulf or the Atlantic Ocean, but I do know a lot of detailers on both sides. They obviously you get like that salt breeze air,
Yes.
you get the, just the contaminants and stuff from the water and things like that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So how did you get involved with System X? Like, how did
Okay.
that come about?
Okay. Originally, I studied for a marketing degree.
Okay.
So I have an MBA in a business. But my partner had once visited USA, and he told me, whatever you dream of in USA, they make it happen. And he said, I want to retire from the office and I want to do what I enjoy most. And we do, and we both love cars. And
Uh-huh.
that was 5 years ago. And we said, okay, let's see what we can do with cars, you know.
Right.
Then we started reading for the detailing course through the IDA and through the UK Detailing Academy as well, with Rich March. And slowly we started learning detailing and the like, and we opened up a studio. Obviously, we said we wanted to partner with someone reliable for ceramic coating, and System X literally gave us this opportunity, which I'm so very grateful towards them, because we keep growing and growing, the both of us, and it's been a very nice, healthy relationship.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, the guys over there are pretty nice. I mean, I know Todd. Todd's been super cool to me. I mean, I'm kind of with a competing brand.
Yes, I know, I know.
But that's kind of the cool thing with some of the people in the industry, and I think Todd is definitely one of those guys that, you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, there's plenty of, food for all of us to eat kind of thing. And
Exactly.
Todd's been very helpful and even reached out to me and Mike, one of the owners of Aquatech, when we were at SEMA a couple of years ago. He even, pulled us aside and said, "Hey, look, like if you guys ever have any questions, or if you guys need anything, feel free to let me know." And then I've known Steve Persia from my IGL days. So Steve's a good dude. And then, I've known Joey, not personally, but just through social media. We've met a couple of times at SEMA event and everything. And so yeah, I mean seems like a good group of people.
But
I
it's
even
something that I noticed that
Yeah,
it's very different. It's very different from Europe. That the Americans are very welcome to all brands, and there's no kind of friction, kind of. So it's been very easy to acquaint people and make relations with
right.
others. So it's quite different.
I'm glad that you say that because sometimes I feel like it's not that way. I feel like I feel like everybody's trashing everybody and and whatever. But it is kind of funny because one of the things, especially with trying to get more international people on the podcast, is kind of learning the differences, right? And I remember a couple of years ago we did a joint podcast with the Speed Six guys over in the UK, and we kind of did, the differences between the UK and the US on certain things. And the joke that I always make with the UK guys is that, they'll spend 15 hours just washing a car, whereas like I feel like over here we're like, okay, we're gonna be paint correcting it. It's gonna get, whatever. So let's just get to it. Like let's just throw some soap on it, get it washed and get going or whatever. So but yeah, I've noticed that in the UK, some of the people I know it's a little catty. There's some trash talking or whatever. So I feel like it's that way all over. But I'm glad that you think that the US is pretty open. I mean, I feel like that.
No.
I feel like a lot of us are. I mean, I am. I have plenty of friends and with different brands and different companies, and it's hey, as long as we're all doing well, that's the main thing, I feel like.
Yes. And I think everyone can find their own niche, their own specialization. So, and as long as you're creative, how to go about things, there will be work for everyone.
Right, exactly. So with Malta being such a small island, such a small country, is there a lot of competition for you? And how is that?
Yes, there's a lot of competition. However, that was one of the main objectives why we opened the Malta Detailing Academy together with the UK Detailing Academy. Because a lot of detailers just they open up a studio and they start acting as a detailer. And to be a detailer, you really need to know what chemicals you're using, what's the difference, what situation the car is in. You need to read and understand what the paint is telling you, what the interior is telling you. You can't just go and say, "Oh yes, let's get the vacuum, start brushing, clean it up," put on a
Right.
pair of gloves and just go with it. There are a lot of detailers, and one of our main objective is to ensure that detailers become certified. So we are offering several training courses to ensure that the detailers are all certified.
Uh-oh.
I'm
Yeah,
here. I'm
okay.
here.
Okay.
So yes, there is competition, but still, um, let's put it this way. A few do close down the line, after 2 years,
Yeah.
because the tough gets going. And but thank God we've been here for 5 years, and we're still growing more. Um, um, so we must be doing something right.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's awesome. And I like that you the way you talk about the training aspect, because that's one of the things that I've always kind of been a champion of, is going out and getting training, no matter if you're new or you've been doing this for a while. Because I know some people that have done it. They've kind of learned on their own. They've been doing it for a number of years. They're pretty
Yes.
successful, but at the same time, they've never gone to a formal training to understand things. And that is one of the things that I didn't understand until I went to a formal training. And
Exactly.
then you realize, like, okay, this isn't just to, make you kind of feel like you don't know anything. This is
Yes.
okay, this, but here's how you can learn a little bit better, or know a little bit more. And we actually just did a training at Aaron Knox this past weekend up in Georgia. And it was cool because we had a couple installers that have been, or trainees that have been ranging 3 to 5 years. We had one guy that was like 20 something years, and then another guy who is a neurosurgeon and is like late 60s, early 70s, and he's learning it as a hobby. um, so it was neat to see, everybody's kind of styles, and what they, however long they've been in, what they didn't know. So that's neat that you guys are doing that.
Yes, and something else that is really valuable when you attend the training session is that you don't get to practice on somebody's car. It's a very safe environment. You get a
Yeah,
bonnet, you can smash it. I mean, the pad can come off and you continue polishing. It's okay. Nothing's gonna happen. No one's gonna sue you.
right.
So it's a really safe environment, and it's nice as well to see the tailors getting together and sharing experiences. And Malta's so small, the island, that's automatically you end up bumping into everyone.
Yeah,
So it's nice to create a bit of that bond, even if something happens and you just reach out to one another. Hey, how did you go about this? What did you find? What can you tell me about the situation? So sharing experiences. I think during a training session that makes it much easier, and even the relationship going forward. Who can tell? I mean, maybe the tailors merge. You
yeah,
can't,
yeah,
it gives new possibilities, let's put it this way. So it's not just a professional development, but there are so many other benefits that are naked to the eye, that they're just benefits.
right, right, yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of camaraderie that's built at those events, because you are meeting, a lot of times you're meeting people for the first time. um, there's that networking that goes along with it too. Like, hey, so how do you do that? Or, can you show me this? Sometimes that's outside of the actual trainer, is what I've noticed. The ones that I've gone to is sometimes when the training's over and we go back to the hotel at night or whatever, and then everybody's sitting around picking each other's brains and everything. So it's also a good thing for that too,
Yes,
I feel.
yes.
Yeah.
In fact, when we hold sessions, we do half days because
Okay.
usually the students absorb most of the things that you tell them, and then in the afternoon they start practicing, for example, and automatically they start thinking. And then the next day we're like, "Okay, guys, what did we do yesterday?" And they're like, "I have a question. You know what? Can you tell me more about this pad?" So
Yeah.
it's very interesting, and technologies keep advancing. So you have to keep up to date with whatever compounds and pads you're using, the heat and the thermal and not thermal. So
Right.
everything keeps improving. The lines keep getting better. So it's a great opportunity to just keep up to date with what's going on in the industry.
Right, right. And with that, I mean, I know obviously, we met at MTE, which I'm guessing you were there to see, all the new things and whatever. How is that scene kind of in Europe? I mean, I know that there's Wax Stock up
Autumn,
in the UK, there's Automechanica. I mean,
yes.
how do those things kind of compare to either like a Mobile Tech Expo or SEMA?
Okay, there are quite a few others in Europe, yes, that are on the same level. Not as big as SEMA, but then Automechanica is, I think, a bit. The one that I've been in Germany is a bit bigger than the one that I've been in America. The Mobile Tech Expo, to be quite honest. So it depends exactly what you are after. Then there are other conferences specific, expos specific to wrapping, for example. So
Okay.
it depends exactly what one wants, whatever one is after, which whether that's particular niche within the detailing industry or not. So you can find different expos and conferences and workshops that go on. For example, Euro Automechanica in Germany, there were several sessions, educational sessions that were ongoing as well. And one just could pop in. They were a bit different from the Mobile Tech Expo because at the Mobile Tech Expo, we had a day dedicated to education and then the
Yeah.
expo. At the Automechanica in Germany, the fair just keeps going on. And then there are specific sessions, and you go to the booth and join that session. So
Oh,
it's a bit different, but it
okay.
works as well. So, but
No,
it's huge,
no.
it's big.
Yeah, no, no, that's pretty neat. You know, Mobile Tech is the one that I've been to the most just because it's here, so it's easy for me to go to.
Of
Like
course.
I could it's like 30 minutes away, so I just drive there, drive home kind of thing or whatever. SEMA's the one that I've started going to a little bit more now. Um, but I feel like SEMA's just the big party, go to Vegas, party.
That's what I was told. I haven't attended yet. It's on my
Yeah,
bucket list.
yeah, yeah, I gotta tell Todd to get you out there for this year or something, yeah. So you guys have only been doing this for 5 years, and you said you doing professional stuff before then. So, um, how was that changed? Like, going from working professional corporate style
It,
to, you
it's
know,
still professional.
being a car
I
washer.
mean, yes, but there are still skills that I use from whatever I learned from university,
Right,
customer experience, process flows, making sure that whatever process we're adopting, it is the most efficient, to make a business profitable. Otherwise, it's not going to work out.
right,
You'll be ending up doing this out of as a hobby kind of thing. So if you're doing this out of as a business, definitely lots of skills came into play. So it was very, very helpful. Let's put it this way, because nowadays on the digital platforms, email marketing, customer databases, reaching out to customers, customer retention, um, it's very useful if you want to be successful. So
right.
I think I was very lucky that I kind of married the two, because I have the academic background and the detailing, which is kind of a passion. It's something that we love doing. love talking about, love, it's something that it feels good to be in the
Right.
studio and working on cars. So I must say I've been very, 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 very lucky in this regard.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, because it seems like, and I don't know in Europe, right now in the US, it seems like a lot of people, a lot of detailers are, um, you know, I don't want to say complaining, but just um, concerned of it's kind of slow. And I know it's like winter time, it's usually a slower season for us and things like that, but it seems like people aren't as busy now as they were year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, myself included. Thankfully, I have very low overhead, so I don't need to do crazy money. I saw TikTok yesterday of, I forget the detailer, but he has like a $5 million facility that he was going through like his monthly expenses. His monthly expenses were like almost 200K just just
Wow.
to just to open the doors and run the place kind of thing. So, thankfully I don't have that thing. But yeah, I mean, I think it's good that you have that experience with the academics and being able to bring it into the business side and the social media and the marketing and all that stuff, because I think that is something that a lot of people don't fully understand and could definitely help their business.
Yes, it's not easy. I mean, every business, when you start off, everything is not easy. You just have to work hard. But if
Yeah,
you're determined, and if you love it, you just keep going at it. You just keep trying. And sometimes what I find is that when you have these troughs, it's actually the right time to become more creative and come up with new ideas, how to go about things, or come up like a silly thing, for example, a second-hand car package deal. So if you're selling your car, a second-hand car, you can have an actual detailing package to help you sell the car. For example, anyone who wants to sell their car, we offer a package, a detailing package, including polishing, and we also do reels for them. So we take the car, by the sea, we go for a drive, obviously with the client's permission.
right,
It's me and another person from my team, and they film whilst driving the car. We put it together, through a reel, a story, and then we pass everything to the client so they get a nice car which is presentable to anyone who would like to purchase the car. So automatically, when you are negotiating for the price for the car, they get a better deal. And
right,
we help them as well with the marketing. So we give our own clients reels and stories and ideas, and we tell them, now you can go on Facebook, put these up, and it will help you sell. So
right.
usually when it's a bit of a trough, you kind of get your creative thinking in and say, okay, let me think of something. I have to do something. I
Yeah.
can't stay quiet.
No, and that's interesting because I always have some of my clients that'll, when they're selling their cars or something, then they'll, ask me, "Hey, do you know somebody interested?" The unfortunate thing is like it's always a, six-figure plus car, and I go, "You're the guy that I would reach out for that," kind of thing. Like I, like I have limited, clients that can afford those cars. Now if you're selling your daily driver, I said I could probably help you sell that a lot more than your exotic or whatever.
Definitely.
But that's kind of a unique idea of offering to do videos and things like that they could use as reels or promotional, uh, material.
Stories.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. No, that's
Exactly.
that's
So,
interesting. Yeah, I have to tell them next time they need to sell one of the cars. Let me have it for a day. I'll
yes,
shoot some
exactly.
video.
Especially the exotic one.
Right, exactly. I'd be so scared to drive it. The few times
Yeah.
I've driven some of my clients' cars with exotics, not me per se, but I'm just everybody else. I'm worried about somebody else not paying attention because they're looking at
Yes.
the car, and then so
Yes.
I try
It's
not
the
to do that.
first. It's the first thing we did. We have a special insurance as
Yeah,
well at the detailing studio, and for us to drive cars, if only asked by for clients,
right.
and we always get the client's permission in writing that we can drive and make sure that definitely we have insurance, and also
Yeah.
we don't just go for it. We have to make sure that certain things are there in place.
Yeah, that's what I had to do with a few of mine because they would want me to come and pick the cars up and then bring them to the shop to detail.
Yes,
Because it's easier for them that way, than for them to schedule and everything.
exactly.
So we had to bump our insurance up for me to be able to do that. But I still try to keep it to a small radius, so I'm not driving very far or I can take um like not back roads but not highway roads or interstate roads, that there's higher speeds, more traffic. I can do more kind of streets, city streets or whatever. So yeah, I try
That
but I
is
try, yeah.
one thing that impressed me most when I was in America. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
because from a tiny island,
Yeah.
to Connecticut and to Orlando, I was like, oh wow, okay,
Yeah.
the Range Rovers. This actually looks small on the
Yeah.
road,
Yeah.
whilst in Malta we're like, hey, watch out, bumper to bumper.
Right,
Uh,
right,
so
exactly.
it was a very funny feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing whenever I see either videos of Europe or watch movies or things like that, or even the time that my wife and I went to Italy for our honeymoon, is the streets are way smaller over there.
Oof.
And
Ooh, tiny, so
yeah,
narrow,
yeah,
so
yeah,
narrow as well. So yes, definitely quite
yeah, and it's
challenging.
yeah, and over here our lanes are like 9 feet wide, which obviously because our semis are so big. Um, so sometimes it doesn't feel like they're that wide when you're sitting in the car, the perspective view, but you definitely have plenty of room. So yeah,
For me, even seeing a wild truck on the road, I was like, oh my gosh, it really looks small, and it has all the arches and everything, and I'm like, it really looks small.
yeah.
So
Was that your first time coming to the States?
yes, it was
Oh, it
indeed.
was? Okay,
Yes, it
okay.
was. It was.
So what was the inspiration for coming to the States? Were you coming
Uh,
just for vacation, or were you coming
no,
purposely for mobile tech, or
I wanted to meet up with System X in person
okay.
because we've been working together for 5 years, and it's always like Google Meets and
Yeah,
WhatsApp video calls. So we wanted to actually meet the team in person. So first we went to Connecticut, and then after Connecticut we came to the Mobile Tech Expo. We said we hit two birds with one stone,
right.
and we took the opportunity to come to the Mobile Tech Expo because we were told it is very, very specific to detailers. It used to be very much for PDR,
Yeah.
and now it's slowly, slowly shifting
Yeah.
into more into detailing. So
Yeah, it's funny, it was actually started for detailing. Um,
started for PDR. Yeah.
well started so the guy who started it was a detailer, or him and his son were detailers, but it just kind of drew a bigger PDR crowd. So the first one that I went to was probably almost 10 years ago now, maybe 9 years ago now, and it definitely was way more PDR centric. I mean, like, I think the only detailing companies that I remembered was, like, Rag Company, Geon, Rupas, um, Auto Geek, and then there was a couple, like, really tiny ones, and it was in a I mean, like, you couldn't even walk. Like, you had to, like, "Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me." It was in such a small space. It was almost like in a banquet room than a convention center kind of atmosphere. But it's been cool to kind of watch it grow over the years to where it was, predominantly a PDR, and then the detailing started growing and growing and growing, and now I have a pretty good relationship with Sheldon, who works for the company that puts it on. And I think last year he told me the detail portion finally took over percentage wise, and was a bigger section than the PDR. So I haven't really had a chance to talk to him about how this year was, how much bigger it was. But the thing I noticed this year was there was a lot more film coming in now, which is cool too, because for the last, other
Yes.
years, there weren't a lot of, if any, really, film companies. I think last year might have been the first year that some film companies showed up, and it was like, I think maybe two. And this year, I think there was like five or six, seven.
Yes,
Could
there
have,
were.
yeah. So it's just interesting to kind of, watch it grow over the years, and see how it gets bigger and bigger every year. So I'm excited for next year. I mean, we just did the paint correction competition this year, which was awesome. So we're looking forward to growing that next year and on. So it's
Yes,
cool.
I was following because even
Yeah.
Steve part
So what were your thoughts on it? What did you think of it?
of the paint competition.
Yeah, yeah.
I loved it. I loved it.
Okay.
And also the preciseness and the readings, and the timing. So it creates a bit of that. Let me go and check, how well I can fare.
Yeah.
So I think it's really cool.
Nice. Awesome. Okay. I've been trying to get everybody that I can, that was there or saw it. I wanted to get their reaction to it, because it is one of those things that, I don't I know I so I did talk to Sasha. He said they do one over in Germany, for like the last 8 years. I know that, somebody said they do one down in, South America. Um, hey, do you mind getting out of the way so I can see? Can you move?
Sweet.
Sorry. Yeah, get
That's
out of
all
the way.
right.
Move. Yeah, yeah. She loves coming in here when I'm in here, so she must have just came out of her hiding spot somewhere. But no, it's just interesting because there's been a few of them done elsewhere, but everybody we talked to said that there was never really one here in the States, or nothing that came of it. So we were
So
trying to.
this was the first time.
So this was the first time at Mobile Tech Expo. I will say
Okay.
that, because I don't know. Apparently, years ago, I think they tried to do one at SEMA. I don't know. It was like many, many years ago, before I was into detailing. I was still running car washes at that time, apparently. So I don't know like how many other ones there've been, but I do know that Mobile Tech Expo, this was the very first one, and so we were trying to figure it out to where there would be no complaints, no, well, this guy this, that person this, my thing that. So now that we kind of got a nice little foundation, now we can kind of work to maybe tweak it, make it a little bit better, do a little bit more with it. So
Yeah, but
yeah,
I
so
think it
yeah,
was quite fair.
thank you, thank you. So you got to see the first one. That's
Yep.
awesome.
I'm
Are you guys
amazed.
are you guys planning to come back next year, or is
I
or
think we will. I think we will.
okay,
Yes, I
that'll be
think we
cool.
will.
That'll be cool to see you guys there. So what other kind of things do you guys do? I mean, with the shop and the training, and is there anything like different or unique that you do that um maybe some other people aren't?
Mm, I not nothing that I can actually think of. I think the what people tell me is the customer experience, definitely.
Yeah.
So because we are also strategically located next to the airport, so before
Oh,
people go abroad, they can drop the car, and when they come back, they find it ready.
oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So we offer courtesy service as well. We give a courtesy car.
Okay.
And so if people leave their car over for ceramic coating, they get a courtesy car for 2 days. So if they are going abroad, we also provide transport services from our detailing studio to the airport. So I think what sets us apart are these small
Yeah, you get
details and the
right.
customer service. Definitely the
Yeah.
customer
You
service.
kind of have like that full concierge type service of pick up, drop
Yes,
off, loaner
yes.
cars, all that stuff. That's interesting. That's cool. Um, so any boats? I mean, you're out in the middle of the ocean.
Well,
You guys do boats as
there
well?
are ample boats there are here in Malta. We've got, I think, about 3 or 4 marinas. And the beaches, the beaches in summer, they're covered with boats. But when it comes to ceramic coating of boats, a lot of boat owners, they tell us we prefer to polish the boat ourselves.
Okay.
And as you know, the ceramic coating is the last thing that is put on the boat. So if the
Yeah.
prep work
Yeah.
isn't properly done, you will not get the full benefits of the ceramic.
Right.
So it is not something that we saw is profitable enough to go
Okay.
into, considering the hard work that is when you're polishing a boat. It's
Right.
not a
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah.
Secondly, it's extremely hot outside, so the works usually start now in March because by May everyone has their boat down already at sea.
Okay.
So it's quite hot, and it's very tedious. It's a tough job. Let's put it this way,
Right. Right.
and the owners maybe are not that appreciative of the amount of work that goes behind it. So
Okay.
they might even find it a bit expensive. So to strike a bit of a balance there, it's gets a bit tricky.
Okay.
So there's loads of boats, definitely. But let's say the ceramic coating hasn't picked that much yet in
Okay.
that area.
So with them being in the Mediterranean, I mean, I'm guessing that your weather is probably gorgeous all year round for the most part. Um, how does the um, heat and humidity kind of play with coatings? Because obviously here,
Yes,
we're very tropical climate in Florida, so high heat, high humidity. Sometimes in the thick of summertime, it can be kind of a pain in the ass with
yes, it
ceramic
is.
coating. So
It is.
is it very
It's very much
similar?
the
Very
same.
similar?
It
Okay.
is very much the same. So as you know, with the heat, the paint expands and shrinks and expands. So we definitely tell our clients that proper maintenance has to be done to the car. But strictly speaking, it's like everything, even
Yeah,
when you have a house, it doesn't just, clean itself, clean by itself, you
right.
have to take care of anything that you purchase. So if it's an asset, you need to take care of it. So it's very much the same like Florida. So it's very humid, especially in September. It's crazy humid. You can barely breathe,
Yeah,
and it's extremely hot. But definitely, the car would thank you when doing ceramic coating, because with these increase in high temperatures and high UV, it's an extra layer of protection. Let's face it.
right.
So it definitely helps. It helps. It helps the vehicle. It helps the paint, and with the new range that we are using for ceramic coating, it has a 30% increase in resin, and we found that it's helping a real lot to decrease the water spotting.
Okay. That
So
was gonna be the next thing I was gonna ask you is how bad are the water spots there? Again, just being in the middle of
terrible,
yeah.
terrible, terrible, terrible. And sometimes it rains like soil, from this Sahara desert. So
Right.
it's terrible. And that's where we insist with clients to ensure, first and foremost, we ask them to always use a pH neutral shampoo. Even though it's acidic rain or the like, we say,
Right.
guys, just always play it safe. and go, if you are washing it, go for a pH neutral shampoo, and if need be, just wash it twice, but with the new line of ceramic coating, we're finding that it's better and better.
Okay. Okay. And have you found a water spot remover that works? Because I feel like, I don't know, here in Florida, I mean, we get some pretty bad, water spotting from well water or, just the contaminations in waters and things like that. Um, but sometimes I feel like water spot removers just, they're too watered down, and they don't work as well. Um,
We do have a way how to address it. It's through dilution of acid, and we see what works best depending on the situation of the car.
yeah.
So depending on the car, we address accordingly.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it's a high risk job.
Yeah, yeah, so you just go straight acid, water down. That's
It depends. It depends as well on the car. Recently, we had
yeah,
one with a lot of salt marks.
okay,
So we use a specific solution to address salts. But then we had another specific car. It was matte, not polished. In that case, yes, we had to go for acid. But obviously, you have to know what you're doing when it comes to the dilution. You can't just.
yeah. Yeah, Matt's the one that, I mean, I love ceramic coating matte cars because I feel like I make a lot of money for doing nothing, because all you have to do is kind of wash it,
Two
you know?
weeks ago, I did an XM, a BMW XM. The ceramic coating on the matte, the color was midnight blue.
Oh,
Beautiful, beautiful.
yeah,
But in my case, if you don't ensure that you are watching the how the ceramic coating is curing,
yeah,
okay, you can get a high spot on
yeah,
a matte car. So it's
yeah,
like you have to be alert. You have to, no, you can't be tired on the
yeah,
job. You have
yeah,
to keep your eyes on the body all the time. Like, what am I doing?
right.
And make sure that you're watching what you're doing. So you can't just. It's not
No,
like just spreading ceramic
yeah,
coating.
yeah. I didn't mean like that. I meant more along the lines of I don't need to spend like 6 to 12 hours paint correcting it first.
Yes,
I
it's
can
true.
just
It's true.
wash it, and then start coating it. But yes, you do have to pay attention to it. And especially with matte, because matte is oh, excuse me, such an absorbent material or such an absorbent
Yes,
paint that you
it
have to
is.
even make sure you're putting on the correct amount, because a lot of times what you would normally put on a clear coated paint is not going to do the same size panel on a matte paint or satin finish or whatever. So I feel like you have to, make sure that you're putting a little bit more on, making sure you're fully covering it, things of that
Yes.
nature. So
But
yeah,
thankfully, the product is very easy to use, and it's a single application as well, so it
yeah.
helps. It
I don't
helps.
I don't know how any coding companies anymore are doing two layers. I feel like the technology has moved on to single layer application,
There
and
is still
there is
someone.
there is,
Yes, yes, yes,
and
yes.
there's still plenty
I
of retailers using them, but I don't know, I look at it as, "Hey, time is money," and
exactly,
I'd rather lay down a single layer and be done versus having to come back and do it again or wait a certain amount of hours before doing it again or whatever, so, yeah, I went from a 2 layer
exactly.
to a single layer, and then I was like, "Why was I why wasn't I doing this all along?" Like, this
Totally feel you.
it's just
Totally feel
so
you.
easy. You
Yes.
know?
We get that reaction very often from when we're teaching, and we tell them like this is a single pass, and they're like, okay, and I don't have to go, from left to right or up and down, or there isn't a specific method. I would say like, you still go left right, but you
Yeah,
segment it into chunks, and that's it. And they're like, oh wow, this is
Yeah.
perfect. So yes, I understand totally the relief.
Yeah, yeah, it's such an easy thing. When you guys do classes, do you keep them small so that you get a little bit more one-on-one, or do they get kinda big?
Well, it depends because we have a ratio of one instructor is to four or five. It
Okay,
depends whether it's as a beginner's class or an intermediary class. It depends on the knowledge as well of the detailers, and as well on the number of machines.
okay.
So if you have 10 people at one go, you have to have the machines available and the space and the area. It depends. It all depends. But we make sure that we have one instructor, 1:4. The ratio is 1:4.
Okay.
So we're all the time watching what's happening. Usually the instructor is in the middle and the panel is around.
Yeah.
So the students around, and we make sure that we're watching and following. We also found really useful. Rich March also does this during the sessions. We film them, and
Mhm.
then at the end of the day we send them WhatsApp with the videos,
Oh, okay.
and automatically the student can see how better positioned they are when they are holding the buffer, whether there's a particular brand of buffer that they feel more comfortable using, so automatically, instead of us telling them, no, not like this, lift it up,
Right,
you're
yeah,
holding it down,
yeah,
press more in the edges, rather than saying, just
yeah,
film, and we send it over, and we let them sleep on it. And usually they would come back and they would tell us, over here, look what I've done, like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
so
that's
it works. It
yeah,
works.
that's interesting that you guys do that, because I know, the training we just did with Noxie, what he does is he tells people, like, when you go home, film yourself so that you can kinda critique how your positioning is, do you have the right movement? Because again, like, you learn it, it's so much information in a training, and you learn it in a training,
Yes.
and you get the sway down, you get the body position, you got your elbow tucked in like you're supposed to, and it's not way out here or whatever. But then you go home and you fall back into those. So but that's interesting. I like that you guys actually film the trainings so that they can kind of see it, um, when they
Yep.
do go home. Like, okay, I was doing it like this, so I need to make sure, because that's always my thing too. Like, I'll try something and it works for me, and then 4 panels later, I'm back to my old technique, halfway around the car, and I gotta stop myself and be like, hang on a second, let's go back to how we started this, kind of thing. Um, do you have people come to you from, like, different areas in Europe too, or do you guys just, have
We're planning that. We're
okay,
planning that. We're planning that for September. We're planning a training session for September,
okay,
polishing and ceramic coating, and we're trying to package it all as the Malta experience as well.
okay,
So we're getting some maybe scooters and go around the capital city. And the next day we'll have the training. Then in the evening we'll have a really nice lunch, Maltese style, Maltese food like rabbit, and things like that. Typical Maltese food.
right, yeah,
And at the end, we're trying to see whether we can do a boat party or something of the sort. So
oh wow,
that's the
yeah,
we're trying. I'm working on it at the moment.
no, that
So I'm
sounds like a
planning that out. Yeah, because it's
yeah,
summer. It will be summer in September, so it will be hot. And whilst they're here, I might as well, spend 3 days
right,
and enjoy it at the same time as well.
yeah.
So we're gonna do a bit of a mix.
Yeah. No, I think that's cool because, sometimes, like, you wanna see some of the sites.
Yeah.
I went to, um a couple of years ago, Jason Otterness invited me to come up to Chicago Auto Pros to do some podcasting. He was doing a content creator event, and it was nice because we did our event stuff during the day, but then one of the nights, we a bunch of us actually went into downtown Chicago, the city,
Yeah.
and did some of the sites in Chicago, and had Chicago style pizza, and, deep dish pizza, and that type of stuff. So things like that are kind of cool. Some of the other trainings I've gone to, the thing that I like is usually they'll kind of do like a meet and greet on Friday. So everybody kind of,
Yes.
flies in on Friday. You meet up in the afternoon, hang out, go to dinner, get to know each
Yes.
other. So that sounds the Malta's experience sounds a lot more fun than just going to a restaurant and getting to know everybody. But yeah, that's kind of cool that
Yeah.
you're going to do that. It's
In
neat.
fact, uh, in fact, we're planning it between Thursday and the Friday. So anyone who wants
Okay.
to then stay over the weekend, they can with the family maybe.
Yeah.
So we'll have a meet and greet on Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday the training. But as I said, in the evenings it will be open for
Yeah.
excursions, and well, we're trying to make a bit of the most of it, and
Yeah.
automatically, even when you meet at um, at these informal places, you just feel a bit more comfortable, more at ease. So automatically people start networking more and sharing experiences more. And I think everyone learns as well, although
Right.
it's not a training session, but
Yeah.
you get to learn just the same. So still an opportunity.
No, no, that's cool. So yeah, if anybody's in Europe and wants to go to Malta, hit you up.
September.
Yeah, exactly. Um, any other plans for you guys traveling? Like you said, you haven't been to SEMA. Or you planning to come to
Yeah,
SEMA?
for
I mean,
this year, in June, we're going to the UK. There's Automechanica, if I'm not mistaken.
okay,
But so far, my plans stop there because then I have the big event in September.
September. Yeah,
So far, that's how far my calendar goes.
yeah, yeah. You're kind of like me. You're kind of like me. I'm like I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. Like, let alone 6 months from now or, or
I
something
have
like
up
that.
to September. I have up to
Yeah,
September
yeah, yeah,
plans. So
you have a
that's
little
good
bit.
enough.
Yeah, you're a little bit
That's
further
good
ahead
enough.
than me, yeah. But yeah, I always, I always tell people like, look, I don't know, just plan it and we'll figure it out, when it gets there, kind of thing. Um,
Exactly.
yeah. So, well, listen, I appreciate you coming on and doing this.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure meeting you. I know we didn't
The
have a
same.
lot of time to talk at MTE, but um, I was looking for somebody to come on this week and didn't have anything scheduled, so I was like, be perfect time because I've got some mornings available to be able to talk to you and not have to you be up super late or me be up super early. So I
Worked
appreciate you.
well.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Alex.
yeah, it was exciting to learn, about you and what you guys are doing over there in Malta, and um, I'll have to keep an eye out a little bit more and see how it goes, and um,
Definitely.
maybe what we could do is get back maybe after September and find out how
For sure.
your experience went with
For
everything.
sure. I can call you as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'll call
yeah,
you in the afternoon. I'll tell you like, hi Alex, we're
yeah.
going around Valletta.
Yeah, exactly. We could do that. Yeah, and then hopefully I'll get to see you in
Yeah,
Mobile Tech next year.
definitely.
Uh,
Definitely.
yeah,
I look forward to that.
yeah.
Fantastic. Thank
Well,
you.
listen, you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. The
Again,
same.
it was great talking to you. If anybody would want to meet or reach out to you to talk to you, like how do they get in touch with you?
They just send us an email on info@systemx.mt for
Okay.
Malta. And or else I don't know if you can put my handle, my Insta
Yeah, I mean, if you want to,
handle.
yeah, if you want to tell them your Instagram handle or your Facebook,
Yep,
that's up to you.
just put it there. Yep.
Okay,
All
perfect.
right.
All right.
Fantastic.
Well, we'll
Thank
talk
you.
soon. Thank you.
Sure. Ciao,
Bye.
ciao.
Hey, don't go anywhere yet.